To everyone who's joining us on the live stream as well. This is the second portion of day 1 of IKG. Just a reminder, my name is Caitlin Phillips.
And I'm Quay Buzzino. And again, we're so happy to have you all here. I wanted to take a moment. Earlier this morning, we mentioned people came all the way from Minnesota, but I also want to do a special mention to our group from Dennis Franklin, who traveled all the way from Thunder Bay. So now I'm going to I'll let Serene Fox introduce herself and start the panel.
Well, I'll just say first that I want to acknowledge our live feed. So all of you in the room who have already heard myself introduce myself, now it's for everyone watching as well. Bojo, Waban and Uncle Queen, Disney Kaz Opposition, Dodam, and Nishnabe Queen, Dao Bachuana, and Donjibas. So thank you guys so much for being here, for spending your afternoon with us, and most importantly, for coming out to support the voices of young people and to really consider, look towards, and open up your hearts and your minds to what it will look like for our Indigenous future, our reclaimed future. And I'm really honored and excited to be here just to amplify and to help with this panel, because these guys are all like real movers and shakers and bad A peeps. So my job really is to just keep them reined in. We might get some round dancing. I don't know. There's all kinds of amazing things that can happen. So I don't want to take up too much time. This one's not about me. Miigwech. All right, well, Mike's pop. Cheers.
Okay. Anin Bojo, hello. Can you hear me? Is it good? Okay. Sorry, just wanted to make sure. Miigwas Indigenous cause, Aquamakong Donjaba, Peterborough, Mgwandida, Trenton Donje Kanomadiz, Migazin Dodem. My name is Tanya Lee. My Anishinaabe name is Miigwas, which means little feather. I hope if anything goes according to the plans I wrote down here, I'll talk a little bit about my name. But I'm originally from Aquamakong Unceded Indian Reserve, and I was born and raised in Peterborough, Ontario. Yeah, I'm a fourth year student at Trent University in the biomedical sciences and minoring in Indigenous studies. I'm very honored to be here with such incredible people. I've only had a few moments to get to know almost everyone, and I'm definitely like trembling with excitement and also a little bit of intimidation. So, miigwech.
Okay. Hi, my name is Ava Greyeyes. I'm Nehiao from Muskeg Lake Cree Nation. I'm 16 years old. I'm a high school student here in Toronto. I'm an actor and a speaker, and I'm really grateful and excited to be speaking here today.
Hello, Anin. Gitchisabe, Nishnikaz, Bachuana, Donjaba. My name is Dylan Cook, or Gitchisabe, Sasquatch, big man. Not very big, but I'm an actor and artist. I'm from Sault Ste. Marie, Bachuana area. I'm really happy to be here with such awesome people, including all you guys here. Thank you so much for coming. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited.
Sego, Scano. My name is Dan General. I go by DJ Shub, in case you don't know me as Dan General. I am a DJ producer. I am Mohawk from Six Nations. I am a DJ producer. Used to work with a tribe called Red, but then I left, and now I'm on my own, doing my own thing. And I just want to thank you for the space that's provided here. It's really amazing to be able to speak to the youth and to everyone coming out. And yeah, being the oldest one on this panel, probably. I am very cool to be on this panel with these amazing people up here. Thank you.
Sago, hi. I'm Anna Jacobs. I go here at Humber. I'm in my third year of sport management. I play on the basketball team. And I'm Cayuga from Six Nations. And just I'm excited to be here on this panel with everyone and to hear what everyone has to say today. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. What an honor and a privilege to be speaking up here with such amazing, talented young Indigenous folks. And my name is Nanook Gordon. I was born in Inuvik, Northwest Territories in the Nunavut region. My spirit name is White Sun, like the Arctic sun. My spirit animal is the white bear, and my spirit animal protector is the white eagle. And this is the first time I've been to Humber. I went to Humber 10 years ago, and I was also on the basketball team, which is pretty cool. And, I just never thought I would be here speaking on an Indigenous panel. And, so I run a campaign called Feeding Canada, and we send up food and baby supplies to northern remote communities in Nunavut. And I also started the Intergenerational Survivors of the Residential School and 60 Scoop project. Trying to get a book published by the end of this year for the intergenerational survivors. And I'm also part of a group called the Porcupine Warriors, and we do a lot of land and water protection stuff. So if, I have some merch over here. I can get some Feed in Canada shirts and sweaters, and there's also posters, and all the proceeds from that go towards sending Indigenous youth out to the West Coast to help fight the pipelines. So I'm very grateful to be here today, and thanks for having me.
Awesome. So I don't want to take too much time to explain the panel. I think that we're actually going to have this amazing opportunity to decolonize the panel structure, and the conversation will be what informs us. But of course, we're at the Indigenous Knowledge Gathering. And there's so much that we can talk about, especially from the perspectives of young people, about how each and every community and structure and person is going to have a different way of looking at that, a different way of reclaiming and talking about how Indigenous knowledge has informed who they are, or how maybe the search for Indigenous knowledge has informed who they are, or perhaps how the system of education and where we are today can help us to all see some new perspectives. So without further ado, this is Envisioning the Future, and that's my auntie. She just reminded me that you shouldn't say which I say all the time, or you should say and. And without further ado, let me ask the first question. I'm always listening. Cool. So our first question, and for this first one, I'm going to refer to my notes. I want to say it absolutely perfect. Okay. What would you say is the most significant lesson each and every one of you has learned? And how did having this knowledge impact your life? So it's a really easy, simple, low-key question, just to start us off. But I'll ask it one more time. I know you guys know it, but what would you say is the most significant lesson you've learned? And how did having that knowledge impact your life? Nanook.
Can you hear me? Yeah? Okay. I think the most significant lesson I've learned is how important my roots are to me. I grew up without them, and within the last few years, I've discovered them, and it has completely changed my life. I felt like I had this hole inside of me that couldn't be filled with anything that I was doing in my life. I was struggling with addiction and mental health and homelessness. And since I've started seeking my roots, I'm starting to feel more whole. And it hasn't been an easy journey, but it's been a very beautiful journey. That's what I got.
Miigwech. Just before you begin, guys, you know what I think we'll do? If you don't mind, let's hold our applause until the end of the last question and then show them all the love. That way we can keep the flow going. Miigwech.
Okay, so continuing on with what Nanook was saying, I think it's great that you're doing work with intergenerational trauma and about it and around it. I actually, how I want to answer this question, I guess the short answer is connection. that's the greatest lesson I've learned, and I've learned it in many different ways. And it took me a long time to realize that it was an underlying theme in a lot of the things I was doing, even though for a long time I felt all of the things that I was doing, they were great and I was very excited about them, but they didn't really have any kind of connection to each other. And to give you a little bit of context, I love to sing. My mom's always told me that I was, as long as I could talk, before I was talking, I was singing. But I think her version of singing for me was 5 in the morning, like screaming for her to give me a bottle of milk or something. She was like, you know, like only a face a mother could love. It's like only a voice a mother could love, kind of thing. And yeah, I love to sing, and that's only been supported and encouraged by my family and friends and community that I've grown up with. And the confidence that was fostered in me because of that really translated into my ability and my eagerness to go and try all of these other new things. And I found my passion for sciences, specifically health sciences. And so one other thing, a third aspect and a very important aspect of my life is learning the story of my family. And I grew up knowing that because my mother lives with a condition. She lives with, no, I don't want to say, she lives with the factors that happened in the past. Things that happened to our family before I was even born is still affecting her so much today. And I grew up knowing that, and I grew up with the story, and I grew up, well, not one story. It wasn't never a single story. It was multiple. And when I was about 13 or 14, the two of us started to go to high schools and public schools and even at governmental institutions, and we started to talk about our family story, how my grandmother, Violet Nee Solomon, went to residential school, and how she came about living in Toronto and having 7 children, and how because of the 60s scoop, she didn't get to raise those children, nor did she have the skills to because of residential school. And because of that, it started these trends in our family. And my mom, who was actually my biological aunt, was the first one to really stop that wheel, or break the wheel if you're a Game of Thrones fan. And she adopted me with the intention of bringing me up in the culture and feeling that connection. And so back to that connection, because of that, it's enabled me to see these bridges, like bridging the gaps in my life is something that I love doing, because you really never know the potential of something or somebody until you look into the whole picture and you look at things holistically. And for that, that's really one of the greatest lessons I've had.
Oh my God. You don't have to go in a line.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll go next and mix things up. I think one of the greatest lessons that I've learned is keeping the most positive, supportive people around you as much as you can. I know it's tough. It's hard to do that. Sometimes friends, close friends, family members, you know, it'll be hard for them to keep in your inner circle sometimes for the things they do, or, you know, stuff that happens or whatever. But especially in my business, the entertainment business, there's a lot of sketchy people. A lot of you know, like, they're not all just awesome people, you know, like there's people out there that are looking, you know, just to be around you and just to kind of like feed off of you, just I don't know, they're trolls, right? And they just can make you feel good, you know? They make you feel really good.
Yes.
You know, so, but I mean, as far as like, yeah, they look like they're good people, but they're usually, you know, you got to see past that sometimes, and you got to actually look, and with a clear mind, especially if you start looking at it through clear mind and see who those real people are, your real friends, the real support, real family. Keep those people with you all the time, and you know, it's easier to get down that long, tough road with support.
Miigwech. Now.
Hi guys. I would say the most significant lesson that I've learned and taken with me in my life is, well, there's many significant lessons, but one of them was, I would say, never ever stop trying to grow and find out who you are and what your purpose is. I mean, your purpose is going to change through your life, I'm sure, many, many times. But never, ever stop searching for that thing. And when you do search for it and you see that thing out there that you know in your heart that you want, never, never take no for an answer. Don't. Because if you do, you're gonna live your life to become very, very unhappy. There's nothing worse than regret, especially when it comes to your life. So it's yours, and you see what you want, you go grab it, because you have everything inside of you to do it. The only thing stopping you is you. So if you can get through that, then you can conquer anything. I mean, humans are amazing people, and Anishinaabe humans are amazing people.
Hey.
Miigwech.
I guess we'll let Haudenosaunee in there too.
Yeah, you too, DJ Shub.
And all our other nations.
All Indigenous.
Go
Okay, so I think one of the greatest lessons I've learned, and by no means have I finished learning it, it's something that I'm improving at every day, is to accept where you are in life, like in this moment. I think there have been a lot of times in my life where I've been like, why am I not doing this? Or why haven't I done this yet? Or why can't I do this? Or like, why can't I be like this when everybody my age or like me is doing this? And it's not a great mindset to have. And I feel like when you actually accept where you are in the moment, it can help you be so much more positive about life in general. Something that my dad tells me a lot is that life gives you what you're ready for. So in a lot of ways, sometimes, like for me, like I struggle a lot with anxiety, like mainly about school, but also just about life in general. And I find that really living in the moment and accepting that it's okay, like where I am right now, and knowing that, you know, the bad things, the good things, like everything passes, but it's important to know where you are. And really, if like something doesn't go your way, or like really anything, it's important to know that it's okay. Like everybody's on their own path, like they're on their own journey, and you shouldn't compare your journey to theirs. Really just know and be happy with where you are right now.
So when I was thinking of this question, there's so many lessons that you learn in life, and like hopefully you're constantly learning as you go. But for me, like one of the big things of the last 3 or 4 years was doing the things that make you nervous and doing the things you're maybe uncomfortable or unprepared for, even if it scares you, and even if it feels like maybe you don't belong or you're not ready. Taking the chance on yourself. And like Serene was saying earlier, like we're here because of the people that believe in us, and there's always someone who believes in you. So you are qualified to be there. You do belong, and there's a space for you there. So for me, that was like a very, very important thing that I've learned over the last few years. And it's something that I even have to like keep reminding myself that it's okay to like not have all the answers, or be figuring it out as I go. So that's been probably the biggest lesson I've learned.
You guys. You all have beautiful minds and like really different perspectives, right? And I think that's so important to have those varying perspectives. And you're right. What you just said too about having a space, right? Like when we believe that we are allowed to exist, then we can vision a future, right? But if we believe that we don't have the right to exist, then how can we think beyond this moment? So this new perspective of seeing that you already belong is a new one, and it's pretty cool. So it's actually a really great way to talk about this next question, and I think this one's really important, and I think it's also important for all of you guys to just like really be super honest about this one, because this one's a heartstring one, I think. And I want to know from you guys how having access to your culture and your language, or a lack of access to your culture and your language, has informed or affected the way that you're walking in your path right now. Anyone can start. Eva, you put your mic up.
Yeah, actually, okay, I'll start. I guess for me, it's really been like a lack of access. And for me, both my grandparents on my father's side went to residential school, and that is kind of where like the Cree language died in our family. It didn't get passed down because like residential school taught my grandparents that their language wasn't something that they needed anymore. It wasn't important to pass on to their kids. And so it never got passed on to me. And there's a lot of times, where I just like wish that I had that. And really for me, I didn't feel like anger growing up. It was more of like a feeling of isolation. The only other Native kid that I knew was my younger sister. I never went to school. There was never another Indigenous kid in my class. And really, like, I just remember feeling so alone. And I remember feeling like not proud of being Indigenous. And that's changed so much. But I remember when I didn't really care, it was like, it just didn't feel like it was part of me because I felt so detached from it. Like I remember when I was in grade 4, my dad told my sister and I, like, I'm going to grow my hair out. And like now that's something so cool like, to me. But when I was in grade 4, I was like, no, Dad, like the kids are going to think you're weird. But now like it's something that I love. And really starting in high school after I was in the film Indian Horse, really that was a big thing that reconnected me with my culture. And really after that, I just started feeling so proud and started feeling like I wasn't detached anymore. And really, like something that you said earlier in your keynote, like my past and my culture, like it's not destroyed or detached from me, like it's right there. And I'm trying to reach out and find it. And really, I feel like having that lack of access to has made me like the appreciative and proud person that I am today, because I really want to be connected to my culture.
Miigwech.
So for me, for most of my life, it was the lack of, and I got taken away from my community when I was 2 years old. And so I moved from the north to the east coast, and I grew up in a white community with a white parent, and I had no culture at all. And I felt like I was white. Everyone I saw on TV was white. And when I'd look in the mirror, I would just be so confused because like everyone I saw was white, and then I looked different. So it was like really confusing for me for a very long time. And then when I got older, I started going through addictions, mental health stuff, homelessness. Like when I was at Humber here, actually, I was sleeping in the women's basketball change room at night because I had nowhere to sleep. And, it was terrifying. And I didn't understand until I found my culture, until I got sober and started seeking my culture, that it stems from intergenerational trauma. And I didn't get to grow up with my culture, but it's in my blood. The pain that my mother felt, the pain that my grandmother felt, it was still in my blood. It's still in my blood today. And I think realizing that it's been a struggle still. I found my mom when I was 20 years old, and she was living on the West Coast, and she was a residential school survivor. And her 9 siblings all went to residential school, and she was the last sister. She had 5 sisters, and they all died before the age of 40. And I got to see her 4 or 5 times, and unfortunately, she overdosed last summer. I planned to move out there to help her get her residential school compensation, and I was so excited because I got my mom back, and I was just so happy to like give something to her, because I also worked in the film industry, and I'm like, I want to be rich so my mom never has to be homeless again. And here I get this opportunity to help her, and that happened. But you know, that drove me to start the Intergenerational Survivor Project, and it just like, as much as I want to be angry, how can I be angry when I got to spend those few times with her, you know? Like, I feel grateful that I got to see her and I got to hug her, and I believe that it has given me the drive to do the work that I do today, and yeah.
Miigwech.
Okay, so next, to answer this question, the first thing I thought about, so mine was access to culture. Like I said before, my mother's main intention with adopting me and raising me was to foster a sense of pride and happiness and gratefulness for my culture, and be proud and loud about it. And so it really shaped me and my identity of who I am today. And I didn't realize it in the beginning, but it was really showing me balance, not just the teaching. So if we're talking about the medicine wheel, and you're talking about health and well-being, you want to acknowledge your physical being, but you also acknowledge your mental, spiritual, and emotional well-being. And so there's a balance in that I'm still, as a university student, trying to figure out sometimes, and I'm not the best person to come talk to about that. One thing I do, I will always get my sleep, but no matter what. You can't take sleep away from me. But a big thing that I've been learning, and even the past 3 years at university, is finding a balance between living a life as an Indigenous person and having my culture, and then living a life in a Western education. And I brought this up this morning with them because I've started to have a problem with the word Western, because I'm taking a really great course about northern communities all around the world and circumpolar health. And I've been learning about some groups in Western countries where I'd be like, oh, they're all in the West, they're all the same. They're not. There's a great diversity of Indigenous cultures and peoples out there on their own as well. And I just felt it like saying Western to me is not fair, because it was me putting an assumption that I was really ignorant about. So even that has just been, I'm still trying to find a better word for it. And yeah, so back to what I was saying. I'm going to say Western for now, save you guys the identity crisis that I'm in. So that Western side and that Indigenous side seem to be two totally different lives. And I'm one of those people that's always saying yes to everything. And I want to say yes, and I want to take advantage of all of these great opportunities that are provided for Indigenous youth nowadays. And I just got to a point where I felt like I was just breaking down on myself because I couldn't say yes to everything. You can't say yes to everything. There's only 24 hours a day in a day, and 7 days in a week. And I quickly realized that wasn't possible if I wanted to live a balanced life. And so growing up with that culture, no matter how hard things got, I realized there was always that side of me that was always going to be present, whether I acknowledged it or not. So I just gave in. I'm like, you know what? This is going to be a part of me. I need to find that way. I need to find a way to do both. And I'm in biomedical science, and I want to go into medicine. That's all I've wanted for as long as I can remember. And from what it's taught me, being around the teachings and the language, there is a way. If there's a will, there's a way. And I'm proud to say that, like, no matter how challenging it is, I know that I won't give up.
For me, culture was something that wasn't very in your face when I was younger. it was there, but I just didn't realize it was there. You know, growing up, you know, time to go see your cousins with the weird accent down in Six Nations, you know, like, you know, like, or like going to, you know, I went to a Catholic school, you know, where me and this other guy were the only two Native guys at the whole school, you know, and we get slack for wearing our moccasins. We'd wear our moccasins to school and we get beat up and pushed around and made fun of. And all my friends were basically non-Native. You know, most of my friends were non-Native. So, but the culture aspect of my life didn't really come in until I started making music. And when I started making music, at first there was no culture in it at all. I was making hip hop stuff. So as soon as I started integrating like power singing and stuff like that, that's when I started asking myself questions. That's when I started asking, hey Ma, like what's like grandma and grandpa, like asking questions about them. She told me that both my parents, my grandparents on both sides were in residential schooling. So that kind of gave me the answers of why my culture was just so confusing growing up. You know, I'd go to church, I'd go to Sunday school when I was younger, you know? So, I mean, and now I ask questions. I ask like, okay, well, my grandparents were in residential schooling. Why do they still go to Catholic churches after? But that was because it was beat into them. It was brainwashed, you know, that's how bad it was. So little things like that growing up, I mean, I didn't realize it was happening until I was older. I started making music, started asking those questions, and yeah. So that's how the culture was brought into my life, and that's how I found out about it. You know, basically asking my own questions, it was never pushed on me. And I don't blame anybody for that. I don't blame my parents for that. It's you know, the change came from my way of thinking. A wise man once told me, he said, don't be afraid of change, be afraid of not changing. So the culture just came to me when it did and how it did. And for everyone else, you know, who feels like they're struggling because they haven't found their culture or their roots or something like that, it's not a race. Okay, it's not a race to find who you really are. You'll find yourself when you do. Okay, and yeah, that's about it. Sorry.
Me good. Drop the mic.
That was awesome, Dan. So I would say mine would be kind of a mixture, you know, throughout my life. I can relate to Dan a lot. My culture was always there. I mean, my grandmother, she was always proud to be Indigenous, and I'm not sure exactly. I know that there was trauma there, a lot of trauma. My grandmother, she was a sweet woman. My grandfather, not so much. I don't know what kind of pain was inflicted upon him to inflict the amount of pain he put on us. That's something I may never understand. And I felt like that brought a sort of disconnection with my family and culture. But their son, my uncle, Wagosh, he kind of reclaimed that. And he was, you know, like, he was in his late 20s. I mean, he was a young guy. And he kind of took me under his wing. My dad is non-Indigenous, so I was kind of searching for that male figure in my life to show me what it means to be an Anishinaabe man. And he did that. You know, she showed me, you know, how to smudge, how to hunt, how to fish, you know, respect for your elders, all of those things. And when he passed away unexpectedly, suddenly at the age of 29, I felt like all of that just kind of went whew. And I was 12 or 13 and just trying to become a man, just starting to become a man. And it was a really crucial time for me in my life. And I feel like a lot of those years through high school and even almost into college, I was really lost and confused, and I felt like I had to prove myself. I had to prove to everyone that I was Indigenous, and I was proud, and I feel like a lot of ways it came out kind of mixed up, because I didn't know how to show it. I didn't know, and I went to an all Catholic school, just like what Dan said, and there weren't too many other Indigenous people. Like there was a small group, but we're all in different grades, and so it was a very, very difficult time, and I feel like I began to reclaim that part of my identity when my grandmother had got sick, and she went to see Harlan. And he was a really awesome medicine man, and he gave her name, and that same day I got mine, and for me that was the day everything had changed. I don't know, when he named me, I could feel it in my spirit. I could feel it in my soul. It was almost like that spirit that's inside you. I don't know. It was almost like he just tapped me on the shoulder and was like, "Hey, here you are," And through that, I began my journey on, finding out who I am and everything else. I mean, I'm still learning about my culture today, and I don't think I'll ever stop learning. And I think that's just what we're supposed to do. Thanks.
Dylan, just to let people know, for those of you who might not know about naming, what he's talking about is not his government name, Dylan. Yeah. He's talking about a tradition that many of us have, where you seek out a name and you offer tobacco or however your practice is, and you ask for that name that you were known by before you came to this earth, or that the name that you are known by in the spirit realm. So for a lot of us, that naming or getting that name or reclaiming that name gives us, like I was saying, it really does give us teachings on how to walk forward. So just in case you were named so late, you had no name, or just because I know we have a mixed audience, right? And I want everyone to feel included. So
thanks, Serene.
Did everyone go? No way.
So for me, there was kind of a lack of access to traditional knowledge, but also I was able to live in places, like we moved around every 4 years or so growing up. So I was able to be on different reserves. Like we lived in South Dakota for a while, and we'd go to Pine Ridge all the time, Oglala, and like I was surrounded by it. But for my own like personal like experience, I kind of didn't know much because we grew up in the church, and my experience was mostly from the church. And then like I would learn a little bit of language at home from my dad, just speaking like whatever, a couple words here and there. And that was just like what we knew. So there's definitely feelings of what does it mean to be Indigenous? Like, am I enough? Is my experience, does that make me like different than people because I didn't have the same experience as someone who grew up on the reserve, speak the language, like their family speaks it fluently? Those types of experiences like are not the same as mine. So I think there was a lot of shame that I felt for not like knowing kind of the things that I wish I knew. But we were talking about it earlier, and Soren was saying that it's okay to have those feelings of like, this is my story, and there's no right or wrong ways of like expressing that. And I'm always thankful for my dad, because even though we grew up like not necessarily being traditional, and he grew up traditional, but I think that there's still a time for me to figure it out. And I guess being at Humber has been a really great thing for me, because now I feel like I'm a part of something where I like, and I just want to shout out like Sage and Emma, like the way that the way that their family is and the way that they live and the things that they do in their life is really something that I look up to. And just how they grew up in their whole family is really meaningful for me to be around you guys, because it makes me feel like I can, like, it's okay that I'm starting where I'm starting. And one day, like, I hope to have that same, like, you know who you are, and I want to be like that too. So I just want to say, like, it's very meaningful for me to know you guys and everyone at the ARC, because, like, this is, I guess, where, like, my reclamation of my traditional knowledge comes from, is, like, starting from here. So.
Miigwech. And Jeej, too.
And Jeej, shout out Jeej.
Are we good? All of us? Man, cool. I'm like following, I'm like, yes, and I made eye contact with every one of you, yes. Big shout outs to these guys, you know, like like this is the moment. To have conversations of identity amongst ourselves is incredibly difficult, right? It is like one of the things that is hardest for us to really unpack. But to be sitting up here and to share personal stories and to really come from a place of honesty and vulnerability is it's a really big deal. And I think it's important. There's all these people in the room, but there's also people who are tuning in. And I know that each and every one of you has touched on something that somebody in this room or at home is feeling. And you've just given them exactly what they need to hear, right? And that's so important. That's why it's important for us to have these conversations, to blast them out on live feeds, and to be shameless about how many times we invite people to be involved in these conversations, because we're never going to say the same thing twice, and there's always going to be someone else in the room. So big Miigwech. Like, I'm like overflowing with all the good vibes. Manoba Matsuin. So this next question, I think, is a big one, and I think that it's a question and a conversation that's going around a lot in our communities. It's this conversation of legacy, and not only who we are right now, but what do we want to leave behind? What are we looking to leave for the generations who are coming up behind us, or what do we hope to create? What is going to be the thing that our life work is, or even just this work right now? What are you guys looking towards and hoping that will be your legacy, or that will be something that you leave for those generations behind you? And maybe if any of you guys also want to maybe reach out to somebody who's in the room or to young people and give them some advice. Like, what would you say to young people who are coming up behind you? This is a call out to the generations yet to come, and what you want for them, and what you're seeing for them, and what you want to leave for them. So, if you guys need to take a minute, go ahead. I could. Nanook?
Yeah.
All right.
I would like to create and also see a world where there's clean, accessible drinking water for all communities. And I would also like to create and be a part of, in the future, with a world where the millennial scoop is demolished. And it's going to take a lot of work. And I stand with the people who do that work. I feel for them. That's why I stand with the pipeline people and stand with the folks who have gotten their babies taken away from them. I don't know if I can fully understand that feeling, but I just have this urge to go and support them. I would also like to see a world where every child has the opportunity to learn it's their culture and learn their language, because I believe that every child deserves that. And also, I think one of the most important things is unity. I ran a rally last week for the Unistoten camp, and the amount of different folks from different cultures, all colors, all walks of life stand together. We need more of that. And it's not just an Indigenous issue, it's a world issue, it's a humanity issue. Earlier when he was speaking about Mother Earth, like I was crying because I just want so bad for everybody to understand how important it is to look after her. And after losing my mother, it's more important, not more important to me now, but I have more drive to look after her. And I hope that people will realize that we're in a state of abrupt climate change, and we need to act now. And I believe, like if I have grandchildren, and they ask me, why don't we have clean drinking water? Like, what happened? I want to be able to tell them honestly that I gave all of my heart to try to get them clean drinking water, if it comes to that point. And also, what was the last question?
Advice.
Oh, advice. I think there's this quote, speak the truth even if your voice shakes. And that one was hard for me for so many years. I grew up in a pretty abusive home where if I spoke the truth, I would get beat. And so for so long, I lied a lot. And, I got older and then it wasn't working for me anymore because I'm 20, 25 years old and I'm still lying. And I had this woman, one of my mentors, and she's like, be completely honest with me. And I was completely honest with her. For the first time in my life, I was completely honest. And I was just like, whoa, I didn't get beat. She didn't hit me, It's like we have to change our survival skills. I need to change my survival skills because growing up, we develop these survival skills and we outgrow them. And I think it's super important for us to speak our truth because I speak very openly about the trauma that I've experienced, the physical abuse, the sexual abuse, the emotional abuse, the psychological abuse. And I feel like the stigma around it needs to stop because a majority of us, especially in Indigenous communities, have been affected by this. And we need to talk about it openly, and we need to be there for our family and our friends and our loved ones, because if we can't speak to a loved one about it, it's just gonna kill us inside, and we need to speak up about that stuff. And I urge you to, if you're holding something inside, to just talk to somebody that you trust and love. And I believe that healing is going to be a huge part of our next generation.
Chimigwich.
Okay.
I'm like, I can answer for you if you guys need some time. It's only like a really small question about legacy, so I totally know.
I'm trying to collect my thoughts. I have them all, but I'm trying to put them into 3 minutes.
No, don't worry about that. Decolonize that.
Oh, okay then.
Give me your notes.
No.
Just kidding.
That was a bad idea.
No, go. Don't you worry about time. Speak from your heart.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I do recall mentioning that I did want to talk about my name a little bit. So just to briefly mention it. So my name is Miigwech, and it means little feather. And growing up, I had a lot of Indigenous friends, and they all had really cool names. There was Shining Snow Boy and Golden Eagle Woman and Man Who Walked Before. And I'm like the little fluff on the back of a bird. I'm like this, what? This is not significant at all.
Cute.
No. So this is no. And then the height just doesn't work for me at all. I just felt everything was working against me here. I wanted to make a big impact. I had these big dreams. And I felt like I was this tiny thing, trying, waving frantically, I want to make a difference. And it wasn't working that way. So I'm like, okay, I have to find a different way to look at this. And one day it finally hit me, and I made the connection between my name and my clan. So I am of the Eagle clan, and I was I kind of had a revelation one day, and I'm like, you know what? I do want to make a big impact, but it doesn't mean that I have to be at the forefront at everything, and I have to be the one coming up with these new cures for everything and the solution to climate change, and I can be a part of that. It's okay to not be the head of it. It's okay to not be the head of the eagle. I don't have to be everything, but I do want to play a part in it. And I want to utilize the skills that I do have and work with what I have and work with the amazing people that I call a team. It's just wonderful. We're not against each other. It's not competition. Like Nanook said, it's unity. And it's unified. And we can move together to create a massive, massive change and a really big difference in the years and hopefully the millennia to come. So that's how I see it now. I'm a little feather, but I'm a part of a big change. And yeah, everybody can be a little feather. It's okay to be a little feather.
You need a lot of those little feathers to make a wing and fly, yeah?
I actually got a story that you're talking about, and it's was told by Wolverine, who's was a warrior out on the West Coast, and he said that, you know, all of this, the bad stuff, he called it the beast, and he's like, we're fighting this beast, and there's the warrior, and everybody is the spear that's going to kill this beast, and in the forefront of that spear is the spearhead, and that's the people on the front lines. And do you know how small that the front part of that spear is so tiny? You don't need a lot of people to be on the front lines. And then you have the long stick, and that's all the people that are going to push this spear through this beast. And then you have the ropes and stuff, you know? It's like we all need to work together to kill that beast, which is whatever you think the beast is, the pipeline people, the people stealing our children. Like, yeah, I just thought it was like a very, very good story for what you were talking about. Yeah.
I agree.
That was awesome, Nanook.
Yeah.
That was great. Okay, I guess I'll go. The world I would hope to create. Well, I mean, growing up, as you know, as a young kid, I remember thinking to myself, watching the TV and seeing all these people on the TV and thinking, huh, that's pretty cool. Like, I wonder if I could do that, you know? But then I kept flicking through the screen. I'm like, well, this doesn't look like me. Definitely doesn't look like me. So as a young kid, I initially felt discouraged. But then one day I flicked on the TV and there was Adam Beach, you know? There was smoke signals. And like, and just that, I think when I first seen that movie, I mean, those two characters and everyone else in that film, Gary Farmer, and it made me realize, and my family realized, I was like, wow, this could be possible. This could happen. And they brought, with that film, they brought so much to show the world about Native people, like how much we love to laugh, how much we love to tell stories, and how much we love Bannock. And you know what I mean?
And BIA glasses.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. And how much we love basketball. We do love basketball. And so when I first seen that movie, it was the beginning of a snowball effect for me, because then I started to realize that these things are possible. They are possible. And then I remember when I was in college, I was flipping through my favorite website, vice.com. And I seen somebody who inspired me a lot. And it made me realize then again too, and this is when I was first starting on my acting journey, it made me realize that, you know, I could do this too. And it is possible. And I want to leave behind a world where the young kid who looks just like me, or the young brown kid, he looks on that TV and he says, hey, this is all possible. I can do this, you know, and I don't want him or her or anyone to feel like they're excluded from this. I feel like we have so much to share with this world. And I really believe that it's through music, television, film, and I feel like we can share this with the world and bring an understanding that wasn't possible before. We can use this technology or whatever to share our stories and bring understanding and break down barriers. Like I was an actor in the film Indian Horse as well, and I was so surprised by a lot of the emails I would get from my friends' parents and this and that, and they had some of them had never even knew that this had happened, like at all, and I had a lot of them say that they were ashamed and they felt terrible and I was like, I don't want you to feel like that. It's not your job to feel that way. It's your job to open up your mind and knock down ignorance from other people as well. Because if you can understand it, you can empathize with us, that means you're a human being, right? And once we can all just start to realize that, I think that we can break down these barriers. And I really, really believe that a big part of that is through music. Music touches your soul like no one would ever believe. Everyone here knows that. And film and television. We'll tell our stories, and we could leave behind a world that's a lot better, a more unified world, right? Unity. Thanks, guys. Yeah.
Ever awesome.
Ever awesome.
Hey, Dylan, ever awesome story.
ever good. Let's go drive backwards now.
Obviously, the movie Smoke Signals had no cultural impact on any of our generation, so if anyone wants to go next.
You know what? I'm going to jump in just because
Yeah.
he's talked about music.
Oh, yeah.
It's a good segue.
Yeah.
Luckily, music, like for me, it's my music's going to be here long after I'm gone. So I have the advantage of making a statement, putting it in musical form, and letting that take the course it's going to take for the rest of its life, whatever it's going to be. You know, and everybody on this panel has something that's going to contribute, a body of work that's going to continue to inspire, continue to have people ask questions. And I think that's the most important thing. And anything that we all do, anything that you do, is have that body of work or do something that makes people ask questions. The questions that people may be afraid to ask, and have those questions there. Like, I'm sorry, I'm just going to get sidetracked, but like, as far as like my music is concerned, that's what the main focus of my music when I'm doing it is for people to have, especially in some type of setting, wherever the setting may be, that comfortable space for you to feel comfortable and have a good time. Forget about some things that may be bogging you down. You know, I make music, and for generations and generations, music was always something that made you feel comfortable, made you forget about what was happening, and just let you live freely again for maybe it's just for one song. But that's what the beauty of music does. It lets you be free. It lets you not think. It lets you spread your wings, and it lets you maybe ask questions. Like that's the best part about my music that I make is that I see that all the time. I see people asking questions when they listen to the music because I mix contemporary music with traditional. So a lot of the times people will hear the music and like say, hey, who's that drumming music? What is that? And I was like, well, it's Northern Cree, or that's Black Lodge, you know? So the questions are asked, and I get to answer those questions. Or someone in the audience who are dancing and having a good time, they get to answer that question, but in a non-hostile way, in a fun, awesome way. And for me, I think that's the most important thing going forward in the future is having those discussions without the hostility and just having fun and living life and letting the music or the art or whatever you do, let it take its course and let it happen the way it happens. That's it.
I'm into it.
Mic drop.
We won't actually.
I can't drop the mic. I'll get in trouble.
Awesome sauce. I'm just.
I'll go.
We could round dance if you need more time. Flash mob.
I mean, if you feel like it.
Okay.
So I guess the future that I would like to help create is to see more Indigenous youth involved in sport or just physical activity in general. Just because in my experience, playing sports was one of the only things that like kept me going through like really hard times, and it kept me, I guess, accountable when I couldn't be accountable to myself. And sometimes you need other things other than yourself and your family to hold you accountable and to keep you on a good path. And for me, sport was that, and it's the reason why I'm actually here today on the stage. And it's the reason why like I've made a lot of connections in my life, and very, very important people in my life came to me through sport. And I've learned a lot of things because of being involved in that. So I think that's very important for youth. And I think it's a hard time when you're growing up and you're figuring everything out, and everything is like the worst thing ever and the best thing ever. But if you have something that's consistent and it's safe and it's something that asks you to be like strong and do the best that you can, that's medicine. Like physical activity is medicine. And sometimes I think I could use a reminder that it's that, because sometimes it feels like a job, but it's healing. And I think it's important for youth to have opportunity and to have access to sport where they can, I guess, have a safe space to heal. So yeah. And I guess I didn't really have advice for anyone. I would say, like, don't be afraid to ask for help. I've never been good at that. I'm just learning how to do that. Just learning how to do that now. So yeah, don't be afraid to ask for help. Shoot your shot, 2019. Let's go.
Yay! Hashtag.
It's okay. It's okay. So I guess what I wanted to say is really similar to what Dylan said, but representation in film is something that's really important to me. I know I started acting because my dad is an actor, Michael Greas, and he started acting when he saw people like him on the screen when he was like in the theaters, and he said, hey, like, I think I can do this. And that's really important. Like, it's really important to see yourself reflected like in film, in TV. And really, I honestly feel like in Hollywood, it's like we're the invisible race almost, and there needs to be more recognition about that. And I really feel like I would love to become an actress when I'm older and do that for a living. And really, after I did Indian Horse, there were a lot of kids who DM'd me on Instagram and were like, how do I become an actor? And I was like, oh my God, like, you're asking me this? Like, thank you so much. But really, like, my advice to them really was, and like my advice to young people in general, is that you shouldn't feel that because of who you are, you can't do something or you won't get the chance to do something. And I really feel like there's so much that I want to do, but what I want to do right now is to empower other Indigenous teenagers. And really, you know, I'm so grateful for the educational opportunities that I have and like that my parents can afford for me. And I know that like the quality of education and the quality of life that I have isn't available to a lot of other Indigenous kids in Canada. And that's something that I want to change. And I want them to have opportunities, more opportunities, to become who they want to become and, you know, fulfill their potential. And really, there was a speaker I remember listening to, it was like last summer, and her talk was about reconciliation. And I remember I asked at the end, like, as an Indigenous person, like, as an Indigenous teenager, what can I do, you know, to help with reconciliation? And she said to me, like, you have to like learn and, you know, try to immerse yourself in your culture and appreciate it and be part of it. And really, like, that's what I'm trying to do. And, you know, like sitting in this room of people, like I feel so connected and really like that, I guess that is my long-term goal. Like I want to support my own community with my knowledge.
Miigwech. Wait, how do I say thank you in Cree?
I don't know, unfortunately.
Hi, hi. Miigwech. You guys have all gone, yeah? Okay, good. I want to be a part of a future where all of your visions for the future exist. Like this future, I want to be a part of it. I want to say thank you. I'm going to open up the house for questions. So if you've been like sitting here just like barely able... Sorry, it's hard when you have like such hilarious natives in the front row. Like usually we send them to the back, but you know what, guys? I want to say big chimigwich for everything that you've said, and I think that all of you guys in some way have touched upon a couple of really important things. One of them is a united front, and I think that it's really important that unity can get mixed up, right? Like we can start to believe that unity means that we all have one collective idea of where we're moving, and that's actually not true. Unity looks like this. Unity looks like being willing to stand with someone who might have a different view, but standing next to them and supporting them in their future, and being willing to put aside, your immediate goal to help somebody with theirs when that's important. And all of you touched upon representation and really being a part of a future where we exist. And I think that's so important. And I want to let you know that each and every one of you, to me, represents our people and in your own ways claiming that space. And so I'm really grateful that exists. And, I'm biased. Like, I think that art, film and music has the ability to transcend, but so does education and sport. And in terms of frontline occupation, guys, like everything that's been talked about out here, this is the landscape of our youth right now. And it's really important to be able to see this and to hear these voices because this is where we need to focus, right? And I think it's a really clear indication of the fabric of where our young people are at and the work that's being done. So pretty bad, yeah? Okay, round of applause and then questions.
And you know what? Big thanks to you too, by the way, for being an awesome person and just doing what you're doing. Okay, because I just want to acknowledge that too. Seren is doing some amazing work.
Miigwech.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh man.
You're not forgotten.
What?
You're not forgotten.
Oh, Miigwech, thank you. Ever awesome. Okay, who has like a burning question that like they've been dying to ask? Okay, what is your question? Do we have someone who wants to run this? You can speak loudly, yeah? Okay.
First of all, my name is Humber. I come from Blind River. I was born in Blind River, Ontario. I currently work at a Tickemashing in Northern Ontario, Northeastern. I'm speaking today to these youth. And I admire your strength and your courage to come forward and share with us your journey as you move forward. Each and every one of you are going to travel along your own paths and grow tremendously. And it's not by virtue of your own movements. It's by virtue of the movements of your ancestors. We all stand on the shoulders of very, very powerful ancestors that taught us who we were by their very actions and their language. I was inspired. My education comes from Laurentian University and Dr. Dumont. He was my uncle from the age of 6. And I've wept here several times today because it's very inspiring. I just returned home to Northern Ontario from British Columbia, where I was for 23 years. And I graduated at Vancouver School of Theology with a Master's of Divinity, and I'm a traditional practitioner. So I'm really honored to be here. While I was sitting here in Miigwes, I was sitting here and I brought this eagle feather. I brought this eagle feather here today, and I didn't know why I was bringing it. And I'm bringing it because I was meant to give it away. It was given to me, it was gifted to me and created for me by a Sioux elder in British Columbia. His name was Archie Myron. He's been gone for 7 years. And I have a great attachment to it. But a part of our culture is very, very important. A very, very important part of our culture is transferring knowledge, transferring gifts, and allowing people to know that this transfer of knowledge is a very important part of our people. And so in that action, I would like to offer my eagle feather made out of moose antler, painted 7 times. It is seven years old. It has big feathers, big eagle feathers. It has a waboose. An eagle and waboose are friends in the Ojibwe worldview. And I would like to offer it to you for the medicine work that you will do in the future. And if you will accept it, I would gladly love for you to carry it in your bundle and do good work and pass on your knowledge too in the future. Always receive a gift in your left hand, because it's coming from my heart to yours, and the Spirit told me to give it to you, sister. Uh-huh.
We're just going to, miigwech for that. We're just going to smudge that gift of our relative before she walks with it with her. One of the things that I wanted to share was, which I felt was really profound for me today, was the story of her name. And the importance of the little feathers on a bird. And my understanding of that teaching about those small feathers are those are the ones that also carry the blood flow of the bird. They're also the feathers that the bird uses in looking after that new life and those eggs and building that nest for the future. So that is a really, really powerful name, miigwech, that you carry. And I wanted to share that, and it was really interesting that a number of us were thinking very similarly. So I know we're going to meet again. And also I wanted to share with our basketball player, about our basketball player on the stage, Anna. I think that your words about how you've been inspired by the work that we do here at the Ark. So we have Regina Hartwick here, Sage, we have Kwezance Busno, and Caitlin Phillips, and Majijiwan, and Kevin, and have I missed anybody that's here? And Emma, and also Lynn Short. I saw Lynn was in the back here.
Hey.
The work that you all do with us, we can see as our teachers talk to us about the evident truth. Now we have the understanding of what the philosophy of Debwewin is. When we listen to our young people stand there and say something like, I found my culture at my school. I found my connection to my community at my school. Then we know that the work that we're doing is really, really important. And we can feel really good about that, right? So shout out to yourselves. So those were the two things that resonated, and all the rest of you as well, just filling up my heart. Did I see the Vice President of Students here? Is he still here? If you could stand up. I just wanted to have a shout out to Jason Hunter. Jason Hunter is my colleague, and we've worked together now for several years, without whom which we would not have been able to do a significant amount of the work. So I wanted to say thank you to all of the ARC that are here, and also Wabanungo Kwe, the other Wabanungo Kwe, is that's the most clear way I've ever heard you speak about your name in all of your entire life that I've known you, and that's the legacy of your name, that you're gently sweeping away that yesterday and going into the new day. So I wanted to share that, and miigwech to all of you.
Miigwech, Auntie. I love you, Shelly. I double mic'd. So if anyone has any questions for our panelists, thank you. As you could see, I didn't mind, but are there any more questions? Especially, I encourage any young person who's in the room who, maybe you're shy, maybe your voice is trembling, as Nanak was saying, but you're ready to, ask a question, or who cares about your, your ages? Maybe you feel young at heart and you have a question for our youth panel. I encourage you. Oh, awesome.
Ani, I talk too much all the time, so I couldn't resist. My name is Carrie Potts, and I'm an instructor here at Humber College in the Liberal Studies Department. I teach a course on Indigenous music, film, and media that I created, and I've had help along with that from different teachers here and other places. And my question, I was talking to a really brilliant woman, Lynn LaValle, who was here earlier, and she was saying that some of the conflict right now at schools that's happening is trying to define the difference between reconciliation and resurgence. And she's saying what she wants to do is start to move away just from talking about reconciliation. I don't want to speak on her behalf because she's no longer, she had to run just now, but not to just talk about reconciliation, because that's often what the larger public wants to hear about, is how can we reconcile? How can we all get along? How can we all treat each other very kindly? That's important work, okay? I'm not saying that it's not, but where is there time to maybe, you're so wonderful with your talk about kindness today, Serene. I cried several times when you and Jim talked, but where does the resurgence happen? Sometimes it does get angry, and sometimes it gets very sad. And there's tears cried that are not tears of joy. They're tears of that anger that you talk about. And we have to reconcile that in our classrooms and with young people who are struggling with real life realities, like, oh my gosh, you guys are all so inspiring, incredibly inspiring in miigwech. But could I ask the panel, where's resurgence for you? What does resurgence mean to you?
Miigwech, it's a really great question. Cool. We're not intimidated by silence. One of the greatest things I've learned from Anabanese is that you should never interrupt in the silence, right? Assume that there is no answer. Anabanese has made me wait in that silence for I think sometimes, especially when we're driving, a good 25, 30, maybe an hour. And then he'll just start talking, and I will have forgotten what the original question is, and then I will learn through his answer that he is now answering that question that I thought he didn't hear. So that was just giving you guys some time. Yeah, you got it?
Oh, I don't got the answer, but
you
I
don't.
got something to say.
Okay.
Okay, so in your question, you mentioned reconciliation as well, right? And so when I think of resurgence, I think I have a very dramatic mind, and I see these hands just coming up to new ground, and it's probably, I wish I could paint. It would be an interesting picture. But focusing on that first syllable, the re, is hinting at the fact that we've surged before. We've been surging for the past for thousands of years, and so this might be wrong, and everyone's got their own opinion on it. But when I think of resurgence, I think of there's this layer that has been of oppression, of colonization, of colonial frameworks pushing us down, pushing our voices down, muting us, and in any other metaphorical sense, we've been kind of shut down. There's been a box put up. We've been put into a box, and that process of resurgence is coming out of that box, coming up from that, opening that door, that latch that we've been locked under, and letting our voices out again, and learning how to use them again. And so that's what I think of resurgence.
When I think of resurgence, I think of like just like Serene was saying, like you don't want to. What's the words? You don't. Oh, thank you, much better. It's an interesting question. It really is, because for me, I think that yes, not so much to. Like you were saying, let's not focus so much on the bad that has happened, but it has extreme importance. Of course it does. But I think that we have to focus on all of the beautiful things that make us us. And if we can use our minds and our hearts to create things of beauty, or of, or things that just make people feel anything. I mean, that's all we want to do. And I think that once you do that, you have the explosion of creativity, which I think we're in that new era of now. I mean, like, look what we have going on here, right? Like, and I think that once we start to do that, I think that we can really, start to surge towards the future, because we're going to grow as well. And we can not only grow on our own, but we can grow with everyone else, and everyone else can have a better understanding. I'm not sure if I hit that right, but yeah.
You did for you. That's your authentic voice, so it's perfect. Anyone else on the panel?
So I had an experience in a class, and I'm not going to say what class, but there we were talking about Indigenous sport, and we were talking about Indigenous people just in general. And one of the things that the prof was saying was, why is it important to care about Indigenous people? And his answer was, they're our history. And I said to myself, like, okay. But we're also the present, and we're also the future. Yeah. So I think just a reminder that we're still here is resurgence in itself. Like, I think a lot of times non-Indigenous people look at Indigenous people as the past, and like not modern day people, and you live the way like you choose to live, but you're still here, and everyone lives differently, right? So we're still here, and I think that's very important to know, and very important for, I think, as a prof and someone who's teaching stuff like that, I think that's a good reminder for people. Like, yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, like we're just coming in like more and more in numbers, like our youth, and like even like Shelley was talking about how when she goes to classrooms with the youth and she talks about something, you know, they remember and they're excited about it. And I think they're super excited, and that's our next generation. And, you know, the Canadian government is probably pretty worried right now because we're growing and we're learning about our culture and what's important. So yeah, watch out, Canadian government.
Watch out, world. Yeah, thank you guys so much. And I just wanted to add one thing because I think it's like, I think that it's important, but this idea of, I don't know if reconciliation is for us. Like, I mean, it's weird because like I just talked about my name. It's like, let's just like separate that from a different kind of reconciliation. But I honestly think that reconciliation isn't for us, and that we've actually spent so much time talking about it and so much valuable artistic and otherwise funding on it, and most of that funding has gone to non-Indigenous people. So I just think like the cool thing about the idea of resurgence is that resurgence is ours. There's no way that any colonizer can take credit for resurgence, but there seems to be a lot of colonizers taking credit for reconciliation. So for me, the big difference is that resurgence is like us salmon swimming upstream with all the water coming at us, and reconciliation is standing, trying to let the water rush over you while you walk forward against the current. And I don't think that we have ever been a part of walking against the current because we're really good swimmers.
Yes.
Okay, so I just got the cue that our time is up and probably maybe over. So you know what? I think that we never actually give the opportunity to panelists, and I'm like, Quay is going to get so mad at me really quickly, but I often feel like as a moderator that by just closing on my own, that I'm actually taking away the final words of the voices that really matter. And this panel hasn't been about my voice. This panel is about this incredible voices that each and every one of you have, and that you want to add to this room. So I want to open it up and ask if any of you have anything further that you want to leave in this room. And I think it doesn't even have to be just about, it can be anything. I'm going to open it up to you. I'm going to break all the rules. And if anyone wants to close, or is there something that's really pressing that they need to share, I'd like to offer you this time.
I'd just like to say miigwech to everyone who came here today. It's been a real honor to be here, especially with all these awesome people. ARC, you guys are absolutely amazing. It's been great to work with you guys, and to the younger people here as well. I want to say, you know, if I could give one piece of advice, just don't ever be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to crash and burn, because once you crash enough, eventually there's going to be a time where you're not going to crash, and you're gonna surge forward and you're gonna fly. I mean, so I can say this as an actor. I'm told no every day, every single day, but that's not going to stop me, and it shouldn't stop any of you in any of your pursuits. This goes for elders too. I mean, we're all still growing and learning. Doesn't matter how old you are. So just never stop trying to grow, and if you fail, just dust yourself back off and get out there. It's all up to you guys. It's all up to us. So like you said, like the feathers come together and let's fly, you know. Miigwech. Thank you guys.
Right.
Thanks, Serene.
Miigwech. Anyone else, or is that our closing? All right.
I guess.
Oh, wait.
Pick it up.
Pick the mic back up. All right.
I guess I just wanted to say thank you to the organizers so much, and I think we all appreciate it. So if we want to give them a big round of applause.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much. As you can see, there's a lot of powerhouse women who make this happen. There's other men too, but I'm with you. A lot of powerhouse women who make this thing happen. So, Gina, Quay, you guys, all you guys. I'm about to say like every name, and then I realized that everyone here in this section and everyone here, and there's questions, but I'm not allowed to answer that. I really have to let us go. So what I would love for you guys to do is, as an audience, I would love for you guys to get on your feet and honor these awesome panelists. Miigwech.
Miigwech, guys. Miigwech.
And now casually pose for a photo. That's what the photographer wants then. Sorry. Yes, drop the mic. The mic has been dropped. All right.
All right, guys, look here. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Beautiful.
Your phone? Yeah, mine went off a few times. It was like.
Okay, everybody, we wanted to thank you for coming again. And this concludes the panel discussion, as you know. But also, we hope to see you tonight at 7 p.m. back here at the G Commons for the live performance with DJ Shub.
Also, before you leave, take a look at Nanook. She has her merch out at the front. If you want to go around, see what she's got out there, she's got some good stuff.
See you guys at DJ Shop tonight.